Want to know where in life you are resilient, devoted, and kind of obsessive? Well, I am here to tell you as we explore your Scorpio house. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Hannah and welcome back, Cosmic Warriors. Before we do dive into today's video, if you would like to learn more about astrology, then you can head on over to the Cosmic Check-In podcast. And if you would like to book a reading with me, then go to hannahselsewhere.com. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's do this. Alright, so before we explore Scorpio through the houses, let's just talk about your Scorpio house. What does your Scorpio house say about you? Your Scorpio house in your birth chart shows the area of life where you overcome your darkest fears and vulnerabilities through emotional resilience and determination. You become stronger as you face anything hideous that poisons your psyche. It's where you look deeper within yourself and where you conquer your inner demons. So thinking about any struggles or weaknesses. And it's also where you master your powerful emotions. You can show a great deal of self-restraint and self-control. Plus, the Scorpio house can show up as us being somewhat paranoid and distrusting of others. You might act icy, cold, defensive, and unapproachable. Fixating and isolating ourselves is possible. But you see, this is about trust overall, looking at us wanting to form trusting connections, trusting ourselves as well. Plus, your Scorpio house can show where you keep things private, hidden. And what we do share is deliberately chosen. Sexuality, shared resources, and grievances can be tied to your Scorpio house. But overall, your Scorpio house is a house of death and rebirth. It is a house of transformation. Okay, so now we have explained what your Scorpio house says about you. Let's go through each of the houses. Scorpio in the first house. All right, so most likely having a Scorpio rising here. You're usually the one who sees through everybody's BS, even though you can be stubborn about your own personal matters. So in this way, it perhaps would behoove other people to listen to you whenever you do see something that is maybe not making sense. It's as if you're able to warn others. Plus, you can present an image of do not test me, do not push me, don't get on my bad side, basically, or why are you asking me that? Okay, it's important for you to establish trust, to establish some kind of significant bond with another person, and you know when other people take things too far. You move as well like you want to keep to yourself. Again, it's not with everybody, but I do think that when it comes to really personal things, this is about you sharing and opening up when you decide, right? Now, others may also like or dislike your powerful and highly driven personality. They may like or dislike this part of you that does keep to yourself. Plus, this could manifest as others often projecting onto you. You make others look at their shadows, look at their fears. And some people may like that, other people not so much. I guess it depends on how well that person knows themselves. And you can be perceived by others as domineering or as very passionate. You can be very probing and empathetic too. Very sensitive people, very empathetic people. Those that you do love, oh my goodness, what loyalty you have. And well, it can also appear as if you have if I can go through hell and back, so can you demeanor. But you aren't willing to share your feelings easily. I also think that you do not put up with excuses from others either. If Scorpio is on the second house within your chart, when we really focus on self-esteem here, when you lack self-worth, you can be overbearing, self-destructive. Perhaps when you lack self-worth, this is when you can be somewhat more jealous, envious of others. However, whenever you do know your worth, right? Whenever your self-worth is pretty strong, you're in touch with your personal power. You embrace your deep desires and passions, and you're even able to draw from those deep desires and passions as sources of skill, right? To think about your gifts here. Being determined and regenerating your resources boosts your self-esteem. I kind of imagine this as you being able to turn a profit, and that can feel like such a high for you. You'll feel super accomplished, and you may also be quick to cut through people who attempt to devalue you, right? And in the process, you'll show no mercy. Oh yeah, you are not for the mind games, and you value how perceptive and inwardly strong you can be. You like being valued for your depth. If Scorpio is on the third house within your chart, when we really focus on early schooling, you were most likely the kid in class who was profound and secretive with your answers. You didn't want to be seen as a fool. Plus, you may have been willing to probe teachers or to force some type of reaction from them. Perhaps you had some run-ins with teachers over your views or false accusations. Scorpio is on the third house cusp in my chart with Pluto, and I do recall false accusations in school, and I became very angered by that. I was very quick to call that out. Maybe as well, you were quiet and mysterious in school. You would have kept to yourself more. Maybe you didn't trust very easily either. Or it's that you formed an intimate bond with classmates that you really liked. Hey, same, I relate to this. Hot and cold is very much likely here. So you being hot and cold with other students. So you could be compassionate, but you could also brood. So whenever other students maybe were unkind to you, oh yeah, it's almost like you never forget that. You can forgive those people, but you can't forget it. Perhaps you were a determined and investigative learner or student, and so you would have dived deep into subjects of interest. Very much relate to this. Also though, we want to think about how this manifests within your later years. So as you grow older, we also see your determination when it comes to studying, learning. You want to dive deeper into subjects that you're really, really passionate about. Heck, I even remember writing a murder mystery story as a kid. And also I remember being in class and being so moved by the word suspense. And that was all about more of a creepy horror story. And the thing about this too is you tend to transform when it comes to your mind. Scorpio on the fourth house or Scorpio on the IC. So if we really think about your conditioning, you can be determined when it comes to housing and property, but you can also experience destructive times. I imagine potential upheavals. I imagine you having to go through a pretty big ending when it comes to housing, property, your living situation. Maybe your family had to change location, for example. They had to relocate. Maybe there was some destruction within the family home. There was a lot of inner turmoil there as well, which could have been present within you. And perhaps also you were raised to be regenerative and to rise during times of crisis. You have very powerful survival instincts, I think. So even though you might go through a harsh ending, home-wise, family-wise, you have this inner part of you that can push through. It's like you can get through almost anything life throws at you. Maybe you also grew up with a caregiver who was determined or who was suspicious, possibly vengeful, or a caregiver who reminded you to be strong, either directly or indirectly. As well, what we notice is maybe you're either deeply passionate about your family traditions, you're very protective of them, or you want nothing to do with them. Too much pain there when you think about it, when you look back. You can even be quite black and white in this regard. Maybe too, you come from an ancestry of witches, warlocks, investigators, and so you could very well inherit these things. Scorpio on the 5th house. So let's think about your dating life here. You might test the loyalty of your lovers and the trust of your lovers. Okay, so you could put out these little tests, especially at the beginning of the relationship, or it's that trust is just so vital, so important to you, and you can pick up on when there is lies or you're being deceived, and you'll call that out very quickly. You also seek passion, intensity, and intimacy in love. This is not about superficial relationships here. You want something more meaningful. And it's also likely that your lovers transform you in truly profound ways. This can either be for better or for worse. It really depends on the situation, but this is where we see transformation within you. You may even transform the lives of your lovers, and that could be more of an indirect thing. Plus, you can be very protective of your romantic partners. Oh yeah, you may be quick to protect them, to defend them. And maybe you also look at it as, this is our solid bond. Nobody is going to get in the way of it. And it's also likely that you're attracted to magnetic, sexy, sensitive, and emotional lovers as well. Even just to draw from creativity here, your hobbies, you transform when it comes to your creativity. And this way you evolve as an artist, you evolve as a creative individual. And your hobbies may even include the occult, right? So witchcraft and metaphysics. Your hobbies may include astrology. Scorpio on the 6th house. So when we consider your productivity here, you usually will stick to a routine and focus on it greatly until you drastically change things. So you really transform when it comes to your daily practices, when it comes to your rituals, your routines. Your daily tasks and habits represent what your obsessions and passions are, and you make them a huge priority throughout your day. And it's also likely that you are deeply passionate about the work you do and about the services you provide. And naturally, sure, you may not be in a job where you feel super passionate about it, but maybe this is what you crave, right? You crave a job, a role, a position where there is that passion. And it could even show up as you taking some time throughout your day to explore your passion, to make it a big priority within your life. And that passion, of course, could be tied to investigation, research, or it could be tied to science, computing, or maybe also those witchy areas, as previously mentioned, the occult. You also possess an amazing focus and power to finish your tasks, chores, and work. and you will go to extreme lengths to improve yourself. You do not give up easily. I even imagine this as if you set your mind to it, for example, wanting to change your diet, wanting to get into shape, lose some weight, or gain some weight. If you put your mind to it, you will focus and you will be very, very determined. There's such a strength when it comes to those very areas for you. And of course, you transform. So your diet transforms, your health transforms. I mean, it could be a case of a health scare is the very thing that makes you change how you maybe show up when it comes to fitness, when it comes to your health overall. And so there could be measures that you put in place. I hope you are enjoying this video so far, and if you are, then please be sure to subscribe and give the video a like. And if you would like to learn more about astrology, then you can always pick up a copy of my astrology cheat sheets. The links are down below. Thank you so much. Scorpio on the 7th house. Of course, Scorpio could be on the descendant here. So whenever we explore this for you, well, you may be unaware of how you need to feel in control within your relationships, of how extreme you can be, how black and white you can be at times. Marriage also transforms you, and you are determined to make your relationships work. But equally, we can look at this as relationships in general transforming your life. Could even be a case of you choosing to be single, and that within itself is a transformation. Plus, this could also show up as transformations when it comes to business. So we think about business connections that you form, or we think about certain contracts or agreements or deals that you make. And again, those experiences transform your life. Through another, you discover parts of yourself that are powerful and resilient. Partners and close friends bring out your passionate and your seductive attitudes, or this craving that you have for trust. And maybe as well, you're able to help others who are experiencing pain and loss. So you can be really empathetic in this regard towards others too. Moving on to Scorpio on the 8th house. All right, so you will only share how you feel deep down with people you fully trust, with people you know you can be vulnerable with, people who create that safe space for you to be vulnerable, right? But trusting others can be challenging due to being hurt or scorned in the past. You also like it when there is intense passion in the bedroom. You want to connect in a powerful and irresistible way. So we think about domination, for example. Maybe domination is a huge turn on, or you have many dark desires which you do not open up about very easily. Again, only with someone you trust. Darker emotions of paranoia, rage, vengeance, and possession must be channeled in healthy ways, really healthy ways, rather than those very emotions consuming you, right? This is where we see a lot of inner work, shadow work happen for you. You may also enjoy intimacy on all levels. Experiencing a special bond moves you in profound ways, and as soon as you have attached, you'll never want to let go. That within itself, it can be healthy, but it can also be unhealthy. Subconsciously, you act as a detective or as a therapist for others with emotional and psychological issues. So for example, this can manifest as others projecting onto you often, or you coming across as this therapist. And so what happens is people, they open up to you. They gravitate towards you and they share their darkest secrets with you. Scorpio in the 9th house. So your philosophies may include bringing hidden truth to light, being passionate, and seeing through BS. You tend to be regenerative yet fixed about your beliefs. You feel very strongly, very passionately about your beliefs. You will not be shaken easily. And you're also willing to defend your beliefs, I would say. Plus, you're willing to probe and investigate other people's beliefs, really challenge them. So to challenge their worldviews, to challenge their beliefs, could be their religious views, for example. And you can also be private, yet devoted to your own at times. Such devoted people here. I mean, for example, this could be a spiritual practice, and you're very much devoted to that spiritual practice. You believe in it wholeheartedly. And there's such a deep bond that you make, I suppose, with your worldviews. It's like your philosophical views, they come from this place of emotional depth. You can also be intense and perceptive regarding your morals and your ethics. You go through morality transformations. And at the same time, this also suggests that certain moral views, they end. So something that you thought was morally correct, that ends, and then you transform. Then you take on a different view, a different perspective. And lastly, you can show deep understanding when it comes to the likes of politics, religion, science, or philosophy. You don't take what you discover at face value. Scorpio on the 10th house, or Scorpio on the midheaven. All right. Your greatest accomplishments may include uncovering the truth, being a bit of a detective, investigating, right? SEX, magic. So we think about the occult, metaphysics, witchcraft, the taboo, and then of course, yes, deep research. The public might not know of your accomplishments, and you could very well prefer, could be to just let your accomplishments speak for themselves. Or it could be that you prefer to keep a part of yourself private in front of the public eye, and you let as well your determination, I suppose. It's your determination do the talking for you. Equally, I also see this as you not wanting to share every personal detail about your life online. You can become suspicious of others who are shady, who are dishonest, as you make your way to achieving success. You'll be very selective, perhaps, of the kinds of people you work with or the kinds of people you're seen with. It's almost like you don't want to be attached to certain people publicly. It's as if you don't want your reputation, your image to be attached to people that you do not agree with. Plus, you seek to accomplish something that is profound and life-changing, life-altering, such as a healing role or a profession that includes helping others transform. You feel accomplished when you know you've given something your all, okay? You've really put your heart and soul into it. And you feel accomplished whenever you know you have given something your all. You have poured your heart and soul into it. You will be extremely persistent. Scorpio on the 11th house. Okay, you are driven and determined about your future. You'll prove a point to anyone who says you cannot do something. Your future may very well involve transforming, probing, investigating causes and movements and communities. Of course, your future could also involve the occult. You hope to dig deeper into the structures that exist within society. You do not accept what the norm is. And the social utopia you dream of could very well include everyone tapping into their personal power and being courageous, even in the face of their fears and their enemies. You want society to address their trauma and transform. And so maybe you think to yourself, if society can do this, the world would be a much better place. You're on a mission to address complex issues and ideas and to passionately pursue your dreams. For example, exploring deep desires, taboo subjects. Again, we go back to the occult, or unraveling mysteries. And lastly, Scorpio on the 12th house. Your self-undoing involves needing to be in control, being overly secretive, and becoming paranoid or jealous of others. Your spiritual practices may include magic, solving mysteries, sex, eroticism, or shadow work. Reconnecting with the parts of you that are magnetic, healing, and highly perceptive can create wholeness and spiritual unity here. And your dreams can even symbolize your deeper passions and the things you fear the most. But you may not admit these things. And perhaps in a past life, you were a witch or a wizard, a surgeon or a detective. And it's these kinds of roles that are tied to the karma you experience in this life. Can I also just say here, you're very gifted at investigating. You possess intuitive gifts, which you can use to your benefit. You can use to help others, to help transform the lives of others. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes today's video all about your Scorpio house in astrology. I hope you found this video to be helpful and that you learned something new. And if you did find it to be helpful, you can always buy me a coffee. Make sure to subscribe, give the video a like if you liked it today. Stay tuned for more, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!